Oh, hello, Miss Wang.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you too.
All right, so I actually just got done looking over your 24-hour diet recall, and so I was able to assess, just like I broke down each one of your meals and just like looked at possible changes you can make,
Okay.
and then so what I'm going to do now is just ask you some questions and give you some ideas as to things that I found, and then your responses to them.
Okay.
All right, so again, so can you just tell me what are your like short or long-term goals or goals that you have in mind right now?
Well, like I said, I do want to try and lose the last 15 and 20 pounds, and like long term would just be to, just maintain it and not have to do this all over again. I just like want to get there and just like, be there.
Understandable. Okay, so what the ideas and like maybe tips that I might give you today are things that you take out of this office like today in your experience. Uh, when do you say you're willing to make a change? Is that something that you're looking to make a change now, or something maybe 6 months from now?
I would say I'm pretty ready. Like I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've been trying to make my changes, but I finally just decided that I do need some help, and that's why I'm here.
So like on a scale of 1 to 10, how like committed to change would you say you are?
I like 8.
Okay. All right. So now if I was to ask you, say why 8, why not like 7 or a 9?
I don't know. I just like I know I really want this. It just the changes kind of scare me, and I don't know. I just never like changing. I'm kind of like all or nothing. So I either gotta like do everything right or not. So I hate the gradual process of losing weight, but I understand that it has to be that way. So that's why I think it's an 8.
So what would you say would have to be done if we were to push it onto like a 9 or a 10 to like get full-fledged commitment?
Um, I don't know. I mean, like I already feel overwhelmed right now, but honestly, I think I'll hear out like your ideas and then just take it one day at a time. So
Because from personal experience, I feel as though probably the best thing is because whenever we're talking about making a change, any gradual change is probably more productive than any type of major change that you want to make, and they'll make it easier to stick throughout all the time that you have to go through.
okay.
And so I guess what I'll ask you is, what do you feel as though you're willing to learn? Like, what do you want to take from this session and then moving forward?
Well, for one, like I have like all those meals and snacks because I've heard it's really good to eat like small meals throughout the day. Um, and I feel like the stuff that I'm choosing isn't that bad, so I'm not really sure like why losing these last 15, 20 pounds is hard. So I guess I just want to see like what suggestions you have for food or maybe what I'm doing wrong. And I do have sort of like a on the go lifestyle, so maybe something that would ease into making healthier choices.
All right. So then, from the assessment that I did of your 24-hour diet analysis from our previous meeting, I was able to conclude that you had roughly about 3,900 calories. 3,094 calories, sorry.
Wow.
And that's for like your daily total. And see, so it's like over time it gets like as you go meal by meal, you might not be able to see like how your calories add up, carbs and fats, things like that.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things where like if you break it down and like you're able to remember it, then you can actually take that into account.
Okay.
So then you've said that your ultimate goal is to lose somewhere between 15 to 20 pounds.
Mhm.
All right, so then we recommend that the healthier way to do this is probably to, rather than trying to make a drastic jump at the beginning, is to like just span it out over a period of time.
Okay.
And so the best way to do this would just be to gradually lower your caloric intake, and the ultimate goal is to see if we could have you at 1,500 calories a day. And
Okay.
see, so ultimately it is a drastic jump if you think about it from point A to point B. But then we have to think about like the checkpoints that are in the middle that we'll come to. And then this would just make it easier to make the change. So it'll be something that's more gradual and more bearable for you to live with.
Okay.
And so if we could read, with the calculations that were done, we'll realize that if we get down to 1,500 calories a day, we can average you losing about or gradually go down in calories about maybe a pound a week, a pound and a half a week. That's something that's reasonable and worthwhile. If that's something that you think you'd be willing to tolerate.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
And then also another good way, maybe just a tip that I could give to you. That's good to you can track rather than having to come in for these meetings every time for like the 24-hour diary recall. it's something that you can make easier upon yourself if you were to just like. Have you ever heard of a food journal?
Yeah.
So it's like just something that you could actually go and like you can be aware of. You can track your own like fats or calories, proteins, things like that. That whatever you find most important to you, especially if you want to go by caloric intake, you can track down like what you eat, quickly jot down things, and then for our next meetings, for when we follow up on changes that you've made, that's also something that we can go through also. So it's just an idea that you might want to keep in mind.
Yeah, like I've like started one before, but like the whole keeping accountable thing, like I never liked it, so I never kept with it. So I guess I'll do it.
No, it's one thing. It's like a little short change that you can make. So at first it'll just make it easier to like record and see the things that you've actually had. And then also if you make it towards if you want to make planning future meals, you can look at previous meals. It's also another way of just planning what you can have and also just like monitoring your calories throughout the day.
Okay, that works.
Alright, and so when it comes to like being active, how important do you feel certain levels of activity are?
I think it like helps. I've heard that it's good to like lift weights and stuff, so you can be toned and it helps with your metabolism. I'm not really active right now, but I would like to be.
That's good. That's good. Do you ever have? So, do you think would you have a schedule that would allow for you to join? Like, say, if you were to get a gym membership or go for maybe a walk here and there, brisk walk every now and again, swimming, something just like outdoors, something aerobic.
Yeah, like weekends I have more time. Like
Oh.
during the weekday it's kind of crazy, but weekends I do.
That's good. And also, how do you feel that your eating habits contribute to your levels of activity? Like, do you ever like eat or sometimes feel sluggish, or how do you feel that like your food correlates to your levels of activity?
Well, like I'll usually get like energy, and all of a sudden I'll be like really, really tired. Like I feel like I'm tired after I eat all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Like I never just feel like constantly energetic, which I want to be, but it never happened.
Understandable. But what do you feel is important in a diet?
I don't know, like, I hear the typical fruits and vegetables, like you should have that. I just don't know exactly how much I should have. Um, like whole grains is good and like the lean protein, but other than that, yeah, I think that's it. I know I drink a lot of stuff other than water, so I want to try and drink more water too.
All right. So, if I was to ask you, what would you say are some habits you're willing to maybe adopt into the lifestyle that you're in now? Like, we'll start by what are some things that you don't think you couldn't live without in like a typical diet?
Like probably like juice I can probably do without, like maybe some snacks.
Right. So, do you feel as though you're willing enough to change like your diet plan as to anything can go, or is there certain foods that you feel like you have to stay attached to, like you won't be willing to give up?
Like the bagel that I eat in the morning, like I don't mind that. It's just easy to eat, but other than that, I wouldn't mind changing that. Um, I love the burritos, so and that and like anything like with meat, like
Yeah.
that's hard for me. And like mashed potatoes, like I'm a huge potato person, so like snacks I can do without. Like it's the main courses that's hard for me.
That's good. Well, so the way that I see it is that we can also break down each one of your meals. So therefore, if you do choose to use the food journal or something of that nature, like just monitor what you eat, even like small changes as to if you said you could do without the juices, or then you could also substitute those for water. Substitute like that way you can save the calories from like most things. So that way you can still eat your main courses, like at the times you'd regularly eat them. You can make some type of substitutions if that's easier for you, as to like whole wheat over just like white sesame bagels, maybe a whole wheat bagel, multigrain, something to that extent. That's
Okay.
like if you're willing to do. And then also just like with your lunch and dinner times, the times would stay the same. The only thing that you might want to monitor maybe like your portion sizes. I mean, at first there's nothing that seems like too crazy and out there, but just like we can start by making slow changes just to minimize the amount that you eat now,
Okay.
and then over this period of time, just hope to as you keep monitoring them and coming in for the sessions, we can just like assess them from even on a week by week basis.
Okay, so what do you think about like, me going to Chipotle? Is that good? Is that bad? Is that something you want me to change?
I mean, is that something that you think you could change? Because anything that is either homemade or fresh made, that you can actually like view yourself as to what's going into them. So that way you can monitor like your sodium intakes. You can monitor the amount of fat that's added to them. If rather than you got you said for lunch you had a beef and bean burrito that was fast food. Most likely it was on, would say like a whole like just a white flour wrap.
Mhm.
See if you
Yeah,
want
it
to make
was.
if you want to make one on your own, if your schedule allows. I know you said you're constantly on the go, so if it's something that your schedule can allow to, if you can just like either bring something from home, or if you want to like even just make one for yourself like ahead of time, maybe a whole wheat wrap. You can throw some veggies in there. The veggies are more filling. They're a lot more water content than say like anything like a lot of cheese and stuff like that can like
Yeah.
cause you way down. And then referring back to when you said after a lot of meals, you said you do feel sluggish. If you eat like lighter meals, maybe like try to incorporate a lot more fruits and vegetables into like your daily diets,
Okay.
because they're high in like water content, so therefore they won't feel as though they weigh you down or sluggishly after your meals, and
Okay.
therefore it might even allow you to become like the more active lifestyle that you said you hope to accomplish.
Mhm.
And then also, I guess my next question would be, what do you hope to accomplish in the near future?
I just like, I don't know, just the getting used to the healthier choices, so it's not like a burden. Like I just like want to eat good. Like I just want have the desire to eat good instead of just be like, ugh, I have to choose this instead of what I want, and just just trying to get down to my goal weight.
And your goal weight was around, you say 130, 135 in
Yeah.
that range? Alright, so also after all that we've went through, that the goal weight that you have set, it is something that is quite achievable. It's something that we can obtain. It will take a certain amount of time, but at this way we can make the changes that most certainly benefit you. So then the foods that you eat, you're always on a go. Anything, so we can make more fresh foods readily available to you than anything else. Like things that you might want to adopt into your diet. What do you feel are those some healthy foods that you like to incorporate more that maybe you don't eat enough of?
Um, I don't know, like that. Like I'm always just like confused of like what to have, but like fruit. Like I'm a huge fruit person, just not vegetable.
Really?
So yeah. So I can definitely incorporate more fruits, but vegetables, I'm not really. That might be tough.
Yeah, have you ever thought about other things? When you eat vegetables, would you say you normally eat them in their raw form?
um, like cooked. Like I eat a lot of corn. Um, I don't know about like salads and stuff, but it's something that I could do.
Yeah, so maybe another tip or idea is like rather than force yourself to like just eat raw vegetables or just like cook vegetables cooked in their natural like plain form. Try like you can either just mix them together or make some type of either mix of veggies or incorporate them into other meals. So
Mhm.
like blend them and throw them into like other ingredients that you might be cooking, and therefore it's like you get the servings of vegetables in, and you don't have to actually sit there and stare at your vegetable that you're dreading eating for the entire plate.
Right, like a stir fry.
Yeah,
Kind of
exactly,
thing.
something like that.
Okay.
To just incorporate them all into one dish.
Okay.
All right, so at the end of this, so is there anything else that you would like to add? Maybe something that.
No, I think it's good. So, I mean, I pretty much just have to figure out like how to choose healthier choices for my lifestyle. And I want to try and move toward my active lifestyle. I don't know. I feel like I have some good tips that will help me get to where I want to.
All right, so coming out of this session, what would you say are at least just a few of the main key goals that you'll start trying to apply sooner rather than later?
Well, I think like incorporating more water will be really easy. I want to add more fruits to my food, and I want to try and watch my portion sizes for sure. And I think like for now I'll try and just do three things, and then like the next time I see you, if I'm still doing good, I can probably add another thing.
All right, sounds good. So then, I think for now, what we'll see what we can do is I'll keep all your information here on file,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll say maybe within the next week, you can apply these changes now. If the food is something that you're into, that's also something you can bring into our next session, and then from there we can follow up and just see what changes you've made and how you're doing and how many more changes you're willing to make.
Yeah, definitely. I'll bring in my food journal too, which you suggested, so we'll look at that.
And then something we can both just sit down and go over together. So that way it's something that we're in together and you're not alone.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Thank you so
All right,
much.
sounds great. Thank you for seeing me.
All right, have a great day.
You too. Thank you.